know this song. If you want to stand up and dance, you know, it's a song about dancing. Welcome to Unity of Tucson. We are a spiritual community here to celebrate love, and that's what we're going to do today. What do you say? Calling out around the world. Are you ready for a brand new beat? Spirit's here and the time is right. We're dancing in the street. They're dancing in Toronto and in Nigeria. They're bopping up in Sweden. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. They'll be swinging and swaying and records playing, dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, everyone, dance and twirl everywhere around the world. The dances, dancing in the street. This is an invitation across all nations, a chance for folks to meet. They'll be laughing and singing and music swinging and dancing in the street. Philadelphia, PA, Baltimore and DC now. Can't forget Motor City. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. They'll be swinging and swaying and records playing, dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, everyone, dance and twirl everywhere around the world. Let's start dancing, dancing in the street. Up in Thunder Bay, every day they're dancing in the street. Let's form a long line, get in time, we're dancing in the street. Across the ocean blue, me and you, we're dancing in the street. Yeah. So once again, good morning and welcome to Unity of Tucson. It's a good way to start. People are like, oh my gosh, it's like it's not, I mean, I'm wearing a sweater. It's not winter, really, in Arizona. When he's asking us to dance. Good morning. Welcome once again to all of you beautiful humans. I'm grateful that you have decided to join us here this beautiful morning. Another glorious Sunday morning where we have a high energy celebration of the inherent truth of our being, which is that we are this power and presence. We call it God, we call it spirit, we call it divinity, we call it by many names. It is the truth, the fundamental truth of who we are. And I've taken to saying each week that during this experience today, you may not believe everything you hear, but you will hear something you believe. And I think that it's one of those important things that we can, it's one of those things that we can definitely, sorry, Molly was saying something back there and it took me out of my body for a moment. Hi, Molly. So what was I saying? I was saying, you may not believe everything you hear today, but you will hear something that you believe. And to focus in on what it is that you believe, because it is our beliefs that create the construct of our experiences. That's what we're celebrating here, that we get to address the beliefs that are happening in our lives. We get to decide what we believe and trust that those beliefs are translating themselves into experience. So we are a spiritual community. We are teaching practical tools to address those very beliefs. And those tools help us create a better life for ourselves. So we have a vision and a mission here at Unity of Tucson, and I would love it if you would share with me the words of our our vision statement. Here's the words of I'm really out of it today, aren't I? All right, just focus. All is well. Would you share these words with me, please? We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. And here's what I know. The world is inherently magnificent. The vision that we see is helping everyone to understand, recognize, and live from this point of view themselves. Now, the way that we get there is through our mission, and so the mission is an active statement, and I would love for you to share with me the words of our mission statement. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Just take a moment to take that in. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. If you are joining us for the first time today, if you're online joining us for the first time today, I want to reach out and say thank you for being here with us. There's a place that you can let us know that you've connected with us, and we would love for you to do that. If you would go to unitytucson.com/connect and just fill out the information there, just to let us know that we are here, that we are connected, and it's always nice to have new people joining us online. If you are in the room and you're joining us for the first time today, if you are comfortable and you would like to identify yourself, we would love to shower you with some love and also give you a gift. So if you are here for the first time today, would you please stand up and let us show you the love. Well, good. Oh, there we are. I was like, for a second I thought, oh, we've got nobody. Welcome, grateful to have you here. And if you would remain standing, Diane has a gift for you, but we have something else that we would like to share with you, and that is the result. It is the result of some research that we have done on you, because we knew you were going to be here today. And so our community knows this truth about you. Ready, everyone? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You are magnificent. Yes, you are. Thank you for joining us here today. You can be seated. Grateful to have you here. You know, the nice thing about knowing how magnificent everyone else is that everyone else is a reflection of us. So I think it is important that we exclaim for ourselves the truth of our being. So would you say this with me? I am magnificent. Really feel it. I am magnificent. Do you feel it? To lead us in our inspiration today, to guide us in some inspiration today, I would love for you to please welcome to the stage with our reading and our affirmation, Sherry Hoffman, one of our prayer chaplains here today.
Get the glasses out. I can see my notes. So today's reading is a book from Divine Audacity by Linda Martella Whitsitt. I knew I was going to mess up that last name. It comes from the chapter titled The Light of Life, the Power of Animation, Vitality, and Presence. Vitality is an aspect of our life facility. The word vitality stems from its root vital, its two meanings applicable to our life facility. Vital means essential and necessary. Vital also means having energy and the ability to thrive. Wholeness is our true nature, our essence, our key to displaying our life facility. Wholeness means that nothing essential is missing. We are complete, containing all necessary components. We are whole, intact, regardless of any material condition that would appear otherwise. Our wholeness is assured by virtue of the life principle that is incorruptible, immutable, and eternal. Vitality is natural to us. Now, let me introduce this month's affirmation. I'll read it through once, pause for a few breaths, and if you're comfortable, please join me repeating it a couple more times, pausing in between as we settle into this moment of contemplation and prayer. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough. One more time. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough.
We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe. a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace.
As I absorb this moment, this beautiful energy that is surrounding me, I know that I am worthy. I am always protected. God's source energy is flowing through me, surrounding me at all times, taking care of every moment, everything about me. I know this, I feel it, I love it. I am loved, you are loved. We are all loved and protected in this very moment of existence. And with that, I like to affirm, and so it is. Amen.
We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of
Thank you, Sherry. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'd like to invite Winnell to join me on stage. Winnell is one of our keepers of the flames. We engage this ceremony each week, this ritual that we've adopted here, to understand that all the faith traditions of the world, every single one of them, is rooted in a divine golden thread of love. And so we light a candle for each of the major traditions and let that be at the core of our thinking process as we celebrate them here today. So let's first light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light this candle for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony, and for any seekers who may be unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are keeping open for them in our own hearts. And this final candle we light is the healing candle. It represents the healing of any circumstance where the revelation of the God essence is required. For at the core of all creation is God essence, the source energy, love. And when we allow that to transmute itself into our experience, that is the experience of healing. And so this is your candle for whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. The candle here on your left is our peace candle, which we keep consistently illuminated, in the understanding that it represents the consistent illumination of peace in our hearts. And as we allow that inherent peace to inform our thoughts, our beliefs, our intentions, and our deeds, we create a more peaceful experience of life. And so let us honor this idea, this candle, this understanding of peace by reciting together the prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established and peace begins to reign in the world. Indeed it does. Peace reigning in the world. What do you say, Winnell?
That's wonderful. And this looks like winter fairy time. I love it.
Yeah.
This is terrific.
I like to be festive. I don't know if you know that about me.
This is great.
Yeah. So for those of you who are new to our experience here, and those of you who are online who are new joining us today, Winnell has some feedback that she's going to offer based on the homework that I gave last week. And so that's why I say, if you're new here, I give homework every week. And the Keeper of the Flames, those who serve in this capacity, have been so kind as to say, yes, I will be willing to talk about what the homework was and how you put it to use in your life. So let me remind everyone what the homework was. The homework last week was to ask these questions. How do I perceive the world? Is it from a place of fear or a place of faith? How do I perceive my connection to spirit? Is it from a place of fear or from a place of faith? How do I perceive myself? Is it from a place of fear or a place of faith? Then I asked everyone to let the answers that present themselves be a guide to deepening into your own sense of personal authenticity. So my question to you is, Winnell, how did that go? Tell me about your experience working on that this week.
I really liked it because I really realized how much faith I had, which was great. The first question, how do you perceive the world? And I realized I really do see the world is people, and people are decent. And for some reason, I've always believed in people. And so I see the world that way. And if you read, what does faith mean? It'll say trust, belief, and sometimes belief in the unknown and more metaphysical thing. But mine has been through experience. People always surprise me about their decency. The people I think wouldn't do something will be the ones that do it. And it's just like, that's always a sense of the world is there for you. I remember what Michael Beckwith used to say, the universe is for you. It's not against you. And I really do believe that. And when I think about the path of faith, it's built on trust, belief. You can laugh, you can have fun, you can enjoy your life. Where the path of fear blocks life. It's almost non-living. And I'm not saying I don't vacillate, because I certainly do. But it's like, as a whole, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, well, you're the only one who vacillates.
I thought you would say that for some reason.
We all vacillate, right?
Okay, right.
Yeah. So let's let ourselves off the hook for the ways we may vacillate between fear and faith. It's all okay. And it's all part of this magnificent journey of life.
Right, it is.
I mean, the work that we do is moving from fear to faith always. And a lot of times we can do it through asking these very kinds of questions in every situation, in every circumstance.
Right.
Am I reacting or acting out of a place of fear or a place of faith? That's the great joy.
Yeah, and then when I went to the second one, my connection with, the divine.
Yeah.
It's always been interesting because New Thought put God in a different place. God was out there. I was raised Presbyterian.
I'm going to make an adjustment to your microphone, which fell off of...
Off my
Yeah.
ear? Okay, thank you.
I think this will help. There we go.
All right. So it's like, I always, it's, oh, God, help me. And it's like, oh, God, help me. And then the other one was, oh, God's here. and I would laugh. I don't know why, but it was just like, oh, I'd pray, oh, he's right there. And he was always smiling. Okay, so that was a plus. So then when I went to New Thought, and God's here, God's me, that became so much more expansive. And so therefore, it was, I mean, it's like, it's a presence. It's almost like it's an energy field, okay? And you can just plug right into it, and it's always there. It never goes away. And that was a plus. And then when I came down to fear and faith in me, that's the core of the entire thing. Gertie said, if you can trust yourself, you know exactly how to live. Yeah. And that's it, because I have to trust me and believe that I'm worthwhile. And that's why I love coming here, because you always tell us, remember who you are.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Remember who you are. I'm deeply grateful. Thank you, Winnell Waters. Thank you for sharing. You know, sometimes we have this, well, I mean, we teach non-duality, we teach unity, and unity, go figure. The idea about non-duality is that God is not something outside the self. God is that very power and presence, the infinite creative energy at the core of each and every one of us. I want to let everyone off the hook around another idea, though, because sometimes we want to give it over to that infinite power and presence, right? And sometimes if we're saying that God is right here, we may be self-defeating in a way. And it's perfectly okay. I'm going to give you all the opportunity, and you're going to think, wow, to say in any situation, if you need to, get to work, God. Because although we know that God is inherent within, sometimes we need to just state it out loud. Get to work, God. I am part of this infinite power and presence, and I know when I say get to work, God, it is allowing that channel to open up through me to create. And so allow yourself to have that relationship as well as the divine. The song today is in honor of this being the second Sunday of Advent. And the second Sunday of Advent, traditionally, we focus on the concepts of peace.
To all those who say that peace is just a fantasy, that people are born to disagree, I say start by bringing peace to your own family, and watch it spread beyond where you can see. To all those who say our differences are far too great, that people always need an enemy, I say start by bringing love to your community, and then change the way you think about everyone you see. 'Cause peace is possible when we sing our song together. Peace is possible when we let love lead the way. Peace is possible when we reach out to each other. Peace is possible today. To all those who say the world's too big for me to change, that one little life can't matter much, I say we all have the power of the universe, when we sing our song together. Peace is possible when we let love lead the way. Peace is possible when we reach out to each other. Peace is possible today. Peace is possible when we sing out to each other. Peace is possible when we let love lead the way. Peace is possible when we reach out to each other. I know peace is possible today. I know peace is possible today. I know peace is possible
Thank you. That's a song by my friend Karen Mitchell. She's a minister as well, Reverend Karen Mitchell, and she's lovely. We were actually, we went to the same spiritual center in Southern California for many, many, many years, and now she's off doing her ministerial thing just as I am, as we all are in our own way. It felt like a really, it just felt right today to understand this idea that peace is possible. The experience of peace. Now, I want to say that peace is inherent. I've talked about it, right? We talk about it with the candle. Peace is inherent. The experience of peace doesn't always match that which is inherent within us. For whatever reason, we're putting up blocks to that experience of peace. And so when I say peace is possible because we can break down those barriers and know something new and different. Winnell has something to ask.
There was a peace vigil.
Oh.
And there were these little old people. I'm a little old person. And they were standing there with the peace sign. And I went to high school in 1960. I graduated in 69. I'm that generation. Yeah. I cried all the way here holding the peace symbol. And
there are no mistakes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Right.
I'm talking, it's funny that you bring up, like the concept of history and the experiences and the waves of peace that we can and sometimes don't experience. Because one of the things I wanted to talk about today was a historical event. That it feels to me that this has gotten a lot more prevalent in kind of the common consciousness than it was when I was growing up. I certainly didn't know anything about this growing up, and it was only in the last kind of 10 years that this seems to be much more prevalent, this thing that happened. And I'm sure once I start talking about it and being more specific about what it is, you're going to go, oh yeah, I know about that. So in 1914, on Christmas Eve, at the height of the First World War, there was an event that happened on the battlefield. Ringing a bell for anybody yet? Yeah. I'm like, well, I don't really need to tell you all the details of the event if you know what happened. Basically what happened is on the front lines of the battlefield in World War I, there were men in the trenches who on Christmas Eve, on both sides, decided to experience peace, decided to put differences aside, decided to let go of this concept that war was something that was necessary and say, we're going to have at least this one experience of peace. They stopped the fighting and they started singing together. And they came together in community, both sides, and they said, we're going to live in and as peace, at least for this one night, for this one experience. When I was still living in Toronto, I was singing with a choir in Toronto, and it was a men's choir, and we found there was this piece that we found called All Is Calm. And it's a presentation for male voices that tells the story of this event through songs of the period and hymns and traditional Christmas carols as well. It's a really lovely, lovely piece. I always felt so honored to be part of that. The reason I bring that up is because it was an opportunity for people to truly stop and say, I'm going to allow the inherent attribute that is peace to flow forth into expression in this world. Thomas Troward, one of the luminaries of the New Thought movement, he made this determination, and I agree to some degree, and I also allow myself to say there's an expanded way of understanding this. He said these are the 7 attributes of God: love, light, life, power, beauty, joy, and peace. These are all attributes of each and every one of us. And as we allow that peace to, as we allow that love to, as we allow that light to, as we allow that life to translate itself into our experience, we needn't worry about all that other stuff. That's the challenge, is because we are constantly met with all of this other stuff, right? Great thinkers throughout history have all understood that the way to the experience of peace is through the decision to live from that inherent place. During this time, World War I, Winston Churchill had this to say. He wrote this in a letter to his wife in 1914, before this event happened. He said, "What would happen, I wonder, if the armies suddenly and simultaneously went on strike and said some other method must be found of settling this dispute?" What if? What if? What if we all decided that the antagonistic nature that seems to be pervading our current culture were to be set aside and we found some other way of settling our differences? Do you think that's possible? That was not a very resounding yes. I'm going to assume that inside you were so moved with a resounding yes that you just could not bring yourself to speak. Well, here's the thing. What would happen? What would happen if we decided collectively, if we contributed our if we contributed our individualized consciousness to the collective to say, there must be another way? Is there a part of your mind that agrees wholly that that is possible, or is there any part of you that doubts? Is there any part of you that doubts? Because here's the thing about doubt. I say it all the time. Doubt is the limiter. You cannot express or experience anything beyond your doubt, because doubt is saying that's the stopping point of belief. So just check in with yourself in asking that question. Is there a part of you that agrees with this idea wholly, that our individualized consciousness can contribute to the collective whole to find different ways to experience an end of dispute and disagreement? Now, here's the thing. We're always going to have disagreements, but there are better ways of handling them. So who will you choose to be in the experience of disagreement? I think there is still a collective idea that is expressing itself that keeps aggression active in our experience. I'm not affirming this. I'm reflecting and saying, I can see this as part of the experience that we're having. Factions are not necessary, though. Aggression is not necessary. When we know who we are, when we remember who we are, that becomes the great equalizer. And differences are met with love. doesn't have to be the end of the world. I can say, you know what? I don't agree with you. Doesn't have to be, I don't agree with you, and you're a horrible person. And I'm not looking at you specifically, Sharon, for any particular purpose. It's just you were in my eye line, I'm sorry. It does not need to be that way. It doesn't. To know who we are, to remember that we are this very infinite power and presence, to know that we are God is the great equalizer, because if we know it about ourselves, we must accept it as truth for everyone whom we encounter. And that is how we eliminate phobias. It is how we eliminate the isms. It is how we eliminate the strife and the conflict between individualizations of this power. In the song, one of my favorite lyrics in this song is this: if I'm dreaming, what a wonderful dream to share, right? What a wonderful dream to share. Let's keep dreaming, because reality's waiting there. We're the ones who are setting the expression and experience of our form through our consciousness. Dreams are an expression of consciousness, and we can activate our dreams to say, I welcome the experience and expression of peace in my mind, and know that it translates itself into the expression and experience and the circumstances of my life. The experience of resignation to the status quo, or relegating ourselves to live within the status quo, is not living the dream. But that is a decision that we make, whether it's at the level of awareness or below the level of awareness. You hear me say that all the time, because so much is happening below the level of awareness that is keeping the challenge in our lives. Our work is to bring those things to the level of awareness through practical spiritual tools to say, I know who I am, I recognize it, I affirm it, and I accept nothing less than the magnificence that must be expressed by means of me, and I trust it is reflected in everyone I encounter. Our decisions inform our reality. Our decisions inform our reality. During World War I, Pope Benedict XV said this: in the name of divinity, I beseech thee to cease the clang of arms while Christendom celebrates the feast of the world's redemption. Do you know who agreed with the Pope and said, we are willing to do this? The Germans. Do you know who said we are not willing to do this? The Allied forces. Some people are shocked to hear that. Some people are shocked because, those of us who are on the right side always want to think that we've always had the right answers and we're always living on the right side. It's not always the case. But you get to decide who you are in every given moment. Are you going to be on the side of laying down the conflict and rising yourself up into the inherent peace that you are? Now, the Allied forces were saying, we see them as an other. That elusive other. Everyone has an other. Is there anyone who, well, no. I mean, we're a tribe here, right? So there's no othering here, right? Now, we have others in our lives, and that's okay. But the way that we approach the differences is how we truly shift the experience of the other. Because there's still a part of my mind, right? And when I think about this story, I think about the othering, because there's still a part of my mind that goes to, I hear the words World War I. And if I think about Germany, I think enemy. In that context. So my mind still has a tendency and a habit to other based on the information that I have at hand. We're going to do this. It happens. But we must be in charge of recognizing it when it does happen so that we can then do something about it. Even in the context of that presentation, that choral presentation, and they pulled letters and reflections from people who were actually there or claimed to be there. There is some question as to the veracity of the story, but there's enough, it seems, to support that this actually happened. They pulled from actual letters and sources the words of the people who were there to tell the story within the construct of the music. But the majority of the stories were recounted from sources, mostly from among the Allied sources. So there's a point of view that sometimes we hold on to, that what they have to say cannot possibly be valuable, even if they were part of the story. So now, more than 100 years later, can we understand? Can we understand that there are no sides to the wholeness? There are no sides. It was true then. We just couldn't see it. We kept getting pulled back more and more. But the solution to eliminating seeing the sides is a recognition of our inherent unity. For that's all there is. There is only one. And we are the one. Each and every one of us is the one. The wholeness of the presence and power of God is right where each and every one of us is. Right where I am, God is. Right where you are, God is. I recognize the divinity in you and see it as a reflection of the inherent divinity of myself. That's the meaning of namaste. To see and understand and live from that point of view. So, why does it seem like we're still always in a state of conflict? I don't know that I have I don't know that I'm going to walk out of this room here today and say, oh, it's all done. There still may be expressions and experiences of conflict. The only way that we can remain in conflict is by continuing to remain focused on what makes us different. The perceived differences lead to a sense of separation. If we are truly going to experience peace, that is the aspect that must be healed. How do we begin then to feel connected? How then do we begin to feel connected? Perhaps it is adopting ideas like this. Harmony and tranquility are derived from an awareness of the Christ consciousness. Steadfast affirmations of peace will harmonize the whole body structure. Accepting that your consciousness inherent is the Christ consciousness. What is the Christ consciousness? The Christ consciousness is that indwelling nucleus that is within each and every one of us. The indwelling nucleus of each person, the true light, available to shine forth as a guide and illuminate the darkness. That's the Christ consciousness. It is that aspect of each and every one of us that has never been touched by the exterior world of circumstance. It is the inherent spiritual truth. That's what the Christ consciousness is. And when we are in harmony and tranquility, being derived from an awareness of the Christ consciousness, we harmonize the whole body into a state of peace. So as much of this as we can embody, as much of this idea as we can embody becomes ours. The inner reality and our outer experience becomes a reflection of that inner reality. So what does it mean to embody? What it means to embody is to be solid in our faith. To be solid in our faith. That was last week's talk. To be solid in our faith, unshakable. That this is the truth of our being. And to begin to understand that the opposite of peace has no bearing or place in the lives of any of us. And welcome peace. to recognize and accept your entire being is the effect of peace. How much are we willing to accept? That becomes the question. How much are we willing to accept? As much as we accept and embody is ours. Not to take, but to experience, because it is inherently part of us. The acceptance is letting go of the resistance. That's how we accept. So let us move away from thinking there is anything to be taken to achieve peace, and be the ones who are willing to just live from the consciousness of peace. If we want to experience peace, we must be willing. We must be willing to move beyond any idea that is contrary to peace in our own minds. That's the whole peace. That's the peace that is whole and wholeness expressing by means of each and every one of us. I had the honor in that particular presentation of that concert to deliver the final line, which was this: for a single night, no man's land was every man's land, and we, the lowest of the ranks, achieved what the Pope himself could not. In the middle of the war, we had ourselves a Merry Christmas. Ultimately, the rank and file achieved peace because of an idea that was beyond fear, an idea that was beyond seeming differences, an idea that was beyond the appearance of conflict, an idea that allowed for the moment peace to be experienced because seeming opposing factions listened and acknowledged what it is that connects us all. It was the culmination of the understanding that there is room for all. There is room for all. So let us approach our lives with this at the fore of our minds. We are the change. Peace and blessings to you. You are magnificent. So this week's homework is to listen. This week's homework is to listen, to actively listen. Much conflict can be resolved and more peace can be experienced if we just listened more. And so, listen this week with the intent to hear rather than listening with the intent to respond. I'm going to say that again. Listen this week with the intent to hear rather than the intent to respond. Listen to what you are saying. Listen to what others are saying. And listen to what you think about what it is you are hearing. Active listening this week is the homework. Let's relax right where we are. Just allow ourselves to be fully present in this moment with any kernel of truth, anything that has reflected itself in our experience that says, yes, I know who I am. And welcome the free flow of peaceful ideas, the free flow of loving presence. Let us live in the flow, in the here and now, as we experience this peace in this pure, perfect moment of silence. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice
I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could ever be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. I find God, I find myself, I find myself when I find God. For there is no separation, there is only this one infinite power, this one infinite presence, this one source, creation, energy. It is letting itself be known through all that is. And so we are this very power, we are this very presence. There is absolute expression of wholeness that is each and every one of us. This is our identity. We are divine, we are God, we are Spirit. Every cell of our being is this. So I trust and know from this point of view that as we move from this experience into the next experience and the next experience, that it is all done with peace at the core, peace in our hearts, peace in our minds, peace in our experience and expression. All is resolved in this moment, and I choose and know that each and every one of us chooses in our own way to perfectly allow this peace. I listen for the sound of that authentic voice, the divine voice at the core. I listen. And it is with gratitude overflowing from within that I simply allow this pure, perfect expression to be. I let it unfold and trust that it is accomplished. And so it is. Amen. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence, I find God. Oh, I find God. I find myself.
Would you please welcome the Vice President of our Board of Directors, William Summers, to the stage. He has something to tell us about,
Well, actually, I believe one of the reasons I incarnated was to drive you crazy. So something came up other than what we talked about. How am I doing? You're doing great. Okay, so what came up for me when Jonathan was talking, and this, at first it may not seem related, but trust me, it is. I don't know about you, but growing up, I often felt that when it came time to pass the basket, oh, here it is, the shakedown. And truthfully, in some places, that's what it is. But I changed my mind when I started in New Thought, and Unity was a big part of this process for me, that what if I looked at it in a different way? How would that change the way that I feel personally about giving? And so the way I look at it now is when I put something in the basket or click the button if I'm online or do automatic, however I choose to give. What if I looked at it instead of being a shakedown? What if I looked at it as, you know, when I put this in the basket, I'm changing me. And not only am I changing me, but I'm changing Unity. Wait a minute, Unity's in Tucson. Well, I guess I'm changing Tucson. Well, why stop there? There's Arizona, there's the US, there's the world. Now, I might be only changing at 0.0000001%, but I'm uplifting the entire world just by putting something in that basket. Talk about changing my experience of sharing. So if you're kind of stuck in that shakedown spot and you're looking for, geez, you know, not again, you have the free will to make the choice of, I'm going to change myself, I'm going to change Tucson, I'm going to change the world, because you see the law of circulation. It's not just about money. It works in everything. And as you change everything all the way up to the world, when the world changes, your experience of the world is going to change too. Thank you.
Thank you, William. Appreciate that. As you hold what it is you're offering Unity of Tucson today in your hand, please let's share together our givingness statement. I share this gift with love, conscious of the inner presence as the lavish source and substance of my supply. I am rooted in the assurance that this gift blesses Unity of Tucson, and I trust in its ever-present circulation, knowing its blessings return to me. And so it is. Feel free to move your body if you want.
I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. Here we go. I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can still affirm your pledge, although we were asking for pledge forms to be completed by last week to help us in the budgeting process. You can still submit a pledge form and affirm your investment in Unity of Tucson for 2022. Can you believe it's already almost 2022? Yeah, the budgeting process has begun, but we are still accepting pledges through the end of the year. I'm grateful for your support. I want to let you know, in the 2021 budgeting process, we had pledge commitments that totaled about $85,000. This year we have already, we're already well over $100,000 in commitments. So it is a great testament to the growth and the vitality of Unity of Tucson as a community. And I want to say thank you so much for your support. Holiday shopping online, ? Support Unity of Tucson. Please go to smile.amazon.com. If you are purchasing any holiday gifts on Amazon, you can support Unity of Tucson at the same time by registering Unity of Tucson as your supported charity at smile.amazon.com. You shop as you normally do, and without any additional cost to you, Amazon will donate a portion of every sale right back to Unity of Tucson. So it's a great way also to support Unity of Tucson. The Galleria Sagrada, our gallery in the foyer, is proud to present a new artist this month, and we'll be continuing to have this show for the next few months. And here to introduce our artist is our gallery manager, Sue Rumsey. You can take your mask off.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Such a relief. Okay. Oh, yes. We're so grateful to have Elizabeth Quinn-Worrell as our new artist. She's a longtime member of Unity of Tucson, been very active in our church in all kinds of ways. She's an artist with words as well as paint. She paints abstract interpretations of nature's constantly changing elements. To Elizabeth, nature is a spiritual sensory temple. She interprets nature and spirituality from a feminine perspective with oils, acrylics, and mixed media collage, keenly aware of the passage of time and constancy of change. She says her paintings pay homage to God's innate presence, the one truth, divine love that permeates all temporal illusions of our existence and experiences. Elizabeth has a BFA in Studio Arts from the University of Arizona and also studied painting and drawing at the Tucson Museum of Art, the Art Institute in Tucson, and with numerous national artists and local teachers. She's a teaching artist with the Tucson Pima Arts Council and exhibits in solo and group jury exhibitions in Arizona and California. She has generously offered, listen to this, to tithe Unity 40% of the cost of any painting sold. In addition, she is offering one painting for a silent auction. Ooh, we didn't clear that with Reverend Jonathan, but we're going ahead with it anyway.
All good.
It's located right beside the doors to the sanctuary, or it will be when we get a hook back up there. It's on the table right now, I believe. So the opening bid for this will be $50 with increments of $25. Bidding ends December 19th, unless someone wants to be the winning bidder at $325. So if you see that painting, you want it today, you bid $325 and it's yours. The full amount raised will be donated to Unity of Tucson. Please take time to enjoy all of her beautiful paintings. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue, and thank you, Elizabeth. Grateful to have your art showing here today and through the next several months. I'm inviting each and every one of us to celebrate the season. We are going to have a Christmas Eve candlelight service right here, 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Please join us for that. Bring friends, bring family. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful night. Also, we are going to have... I think something got out of order. That's okay. I will go on to this. Spiritual Education, Foundations of Unity class begins January 19th. It's going to be on Wednesday evenings. It's a class that lasts 8 weeks, 8 Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can register online if you go to classes and workshops on our website. You can also register in the bookstore. So if you are here in person and would like to register for that class, please do check it out in the bookstore. The books for that class will be available next Sunday. So we did get the order in, we just haven't put them into our official inventory yet. So they will be available. They're not there today yet, though. There is a quilt auction happening. You may have seen this announcement in our Friday newsletter. If you would like to see the beautiful quilts that have been donated, they are in Harmony Hall. So at the completion of the service today, go into Harmony Hall, take a look at the quilts that are on the wall. Next to each of the quilts is a sign with a QR code, and you can place your bid through your phone by scanning the QR code. If you are online, it occurs to me, I don't think I've put the link on our website yet, but I will do that today. You can go onto our website, and there will be a link by the end of today where you can see the quilts as well, see the information about the quilts, and place your bids too. The quilts are going to be on auction through December 31st at 8 p.m. Gaslight ticket holders, if you purchased your ticket to Gaslight, Molly will have your tickets in the foyer at the end of the service today. So please do check in with Molly to pick them up for our Gaslight outing on December 18th. If you did not get your tickets, I'm sorry. That show is sold out. But go see the shows anyway, because of course our very own Linda is the music director at Gaslight, and we're always grateful to be able to support her as well. So. Tai Chi with Monk continues on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30. Gentle Yoga with Lynn Mondays at 9:30 a.m. in Harmony Hall. If you are interested in serving on the board of directors, please do let us know. Inquiries can be sent to my email address, revjonathan@unitytucson.com. You can tell I'm trying to make it through the announcements. Please welcome our Youth and Family Ministries manager, Chris Paxton, to the stage. And let's bring the kids up as well. Always grateful to have the kiddos join us, and I'm sure they have something to present to us today. Let me get this. And so, what I would like to know is what happened today? What did you do today?
We made a big long string for our...
Very nice. Oh. Yeah, take a piece and
Show how long our chain is.
look at that.
Part of God's chain.
We're all part of God's chain was the lesson today. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yay. Yay. You should show them. Look there, yeah. Chris, do you want to say anything about the youth program?
We're just so grateful for the families that are starting to join us as we ramp things back up here at Unity of Tucson, and always looking for additional hands for helpers, or if there's some passion that you have that you'd like to share, even with one Sunday session with our youth group, I invite you to speak to Jonathan or myself.
Yeah. And there's a sign-up sheet if you'd like to volunteer in the lobby as well. So yeah, we are always looking for support. A couple of other things. Our prayer chaplain today is Sherry. Did we have another one? Not today. So Sherry is the go-to today. If you have prayer needs, you can see Sherry after the celebration today. And I do want to say thank you to everybody who made it out today. I want to say thank you to Wally and to Don and to Greg, our technical crew, for ensuring that we are seen and heard, not just in the room, but also all over the world. I want to say thank you to Winnell and to Sherry and to William for your participation today in the service. Always grateful to have you share. Let's give it up for Linda and Joshua and Raphael, this magnificent band. Yes! I want to say thank you to each and every one of you, whether you're watching online or you're in the room. Your presence here is a blessing, and I am so grateful that you've decided to share your Sunday here with us. And look forward to many, 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 many more. As we complete our time here, I invite you to share with me one of the submitted prayers as an option for our closing prayer. The light of God is my light. It illuminates my path. The mind of God is my mind. It guides my way. The wisdom of God is my wisdom. It leads me to understanding. The strength of God is my strength. It renews my spirit. The beauty of God is my beauty. It glorifies the world around me. The peace of God is my peace. It abides within me. The life of God is my life. It enlivens my spirit. The joy of God is my joy. It inspires my happiness. The love of God is my love. It fills me with compassion. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever God is, I am. And all is well. Amen. You'll know this great Daniel Nahmod to take us out today. You want to come up? Yeah. Feel free to move your body. Well, it's an idea whose time has come.
Make your week magnificent, everyone. Namaste.